Hello and welcome to Mistakes Were Made. We are at the dining room table and ready to do a cash envelope stuffing. This is going to cover the items that we stuffed during the first pay period. And this is going to be for the first pay period of July, the 1st through the 15th. If you are new to our channel, welcome. If you've been following along, welcome to you as well. A little point of info for those who are new, we do not cash stuff all of our envelopes during each pay period. There are some that are for the first pay period, some for the second, and then there are some that we do cash stuff during both. So we are going to get started. And first we're going to see how much we're working with. So we have $100, $200, $300, $400. Then $450, $500. 20, 40, 60, 80, $600. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. That's 660, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 700, 5, 710, 11, and 12. So $712 is what we are working with today. Okay, so let's see what we're dealing with. AAA, we are not going to stuff today. Okay, come on. Come on. There we go. Birthdays, we are also not going to stuff. You can see that I've already segregated out what is going to go to my nephew for his birthday. Car maintenance, we do stuff this particular pay period. So, let's see where we're at. We have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 50, 70, 95. Oh, nope. What is today? Today is the 1st. So 595. Now what I should probably do is grab one of these little doohickeys that, yes, I created this myself. It is not very fancy. As you can see, I have terrible cutting skills. But I had some random kind of sparkly-ish paper. I don't know if the sparkle on this really comes through. It's pretty shiny. That I had bought a number of years ago for some kind of project. I think I was going to use the paper as background for the photos for stuff for my Etsy shop, and it didn't really work out, so I just had it sitting around. And so I was like, hey, why don't I use it to make my little placeholders? So works just fine. It isn't laminated. I did make a few that I laminated. And by laminating, I mean I took packing tape, the clear packing tape, put some on the front side, turned it over, put some on the back side, and then cut around the tape. And there you go. It was now laminated. So, quick tip for you guys if you're looking to do stuff on a budget. So I think what I'll do is I will take $500 of this cash out and put it into our savings account just so that it can earn a little bit of interest. I have not yet actually opened up a high yield account thing. I know people have mentioned that I should absolutely do that, but I haven't. And that's just that. I just haven't. So we will keep this. We'll put that in the back so that we have the $595 noted. And as a general rule, at least to date, we haven't spent a lot in cash for car maintenance, except for when Mr. M got the filter for my car and made that fix. So most of the time, if we're doing like an oil change or something with the place, the dealership, or wherever we go. It's going to be put on our debit card, and then we will put the money into the bank. So Christmas is one that we do fund during this pay period, and it gets $12. So we're going to do 2 5s and 2 1s. I always feel super awkward when I'm messing around with this money because it's like I can't handle money properly. Just, I don't know. I'm as long as I have been doing this, and again, that's not that long. We just started this whole budget thing in October of last year, and it took us a little bit of time to get on board with the cash envelope thing. It still has an awkward feeling for me, but it's working. We seem to be seeing benefits from using this method, so we are going to continue. All right, so Christmas, 50, 100, 20, 40, 50, 5, 50, 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. $168 is where we are for that. Our goal is 350. We will hopefully make it in time. We'll see. Clothing, we do not fund. Dine out, we obviously, dine out and entertainment, we cleared that sucker out during our little coast adventure. So they both get $50, so we're going to do 2 20s and a 10 for each of them. Now, even if we had money left over, we would not roll it over because both dine out and entertainment are ones that get refreshed after a certain period. Dine out and entertainment, this money is intended to last the entire month of July. So at the end of July, if there was any money left over, then that would go to put into a miscellaneous bucket, or if we did a savings challenge, we could use it for that or just for something else. And that's why it doesn't have a card for us to keep track of, because it is something that gets refreshed at the end. So we've got the 20, 40, 50 for entertainment as well. Okay, garden and yard is going to get 2 10s and a 5 because it gets $25. And I'm quite pleased with ourselves because though, you know, we love doing the gardening thing, we have stuck to our garden budget and have not spent any more money on the garden so far. We still have, I want to say, $24.05 that of the amount that we had allocated before, the $500 that we had as one of our first longer term goals. So we haven't cracked into this in quite some time. 20, 40, 50, 60, $75. Okay. And obviously for garden yard, that is going to be, you know, anything essentially having to do with the outdoors, you know, outside of the house, not just the garden. All right, so gas has $100, and we're going to just put 250s. This is another one where if we have money left over at the end of the time period, we do not roll it over and have it build up. This one and groceries at the end of the pay period is when we do our refresh, and so any extra money would be available for other purposes, depending on how we want to utilize it. So we've got $100 for gas there. Then we don't do gifts this pay period, but we do have giving. And it gets $5. So we'll just pop that right in there. And we are at 10, 15, 20. Okay. All right. Come on, thing. Work properly. You're on camera. People are judging you. There we go. Groceries is going to get $300. Typically, we would be looking at $200 because it's $100 a week, but we judge our grocery spend based on the number of Mondays in the month, and this month for July, there are 5 Mondays, and 3 of them fall within the 1st through the 15th time period. So for this particular pay period, $300 is being budgeted. And like I said, groceries is one of the ones where if there's money left over, it would not roll over. It would be made available for something else at the end of the pay period because it will get refreshed. Okay, the next we have health, which is going to get 2 $5 bills. And you may notice that, you know, there's differences between the money that you may have seen previously in a particular envelope than what you see now. And that's because we have done consolidating and shifting around, because maybe I needed 2 5s for something, and so I'd swap in a 10 and take the 2 5s for our needs. Particularly if we're paying for something and the amount that needs to be paid is not one we can easily cover without, you know, breaking a bill. So probably don't watch that closely, but just in case anybody was curious and had noticed that discrepancy, that is why. All right, so we've got our $30 for health. Okay, come on now. Sure, that's good enough. There we go. We'll stop fiddling. Household does get done this time around as well, and it's going to get 2 10s and a 5, also $25. We ended up wiping this one out, and I didn't write it down that we did because it was time for us to order filters for our refrigerator, and those are not cheap. So oh my goodness, our cats are having a fit in another room because that's what they do. So 25. So we're kind of starting over again with trying to bulk this puppy up with our $25. Oh my goodness. There you go. Like a glove, sort of. Okay, not really. Like I said, I've done this for a number of months now, and it's still kind of awkward. So license does get done this time, and we are doing $15. And So I purposely got more 5s this time around just in case we were going to need to break bills in the future. 20, 40, 50, 65, 70, $75. Ooh. 7, 1, 75. Now we are getting very close to meeting our coverage goal. The next license that I need to pay is a business license, and this next year in March it should be $100 because we paid $150 in 2024. So in 2025 it should be $100. So a couple more of these cash stuffing pay periods, we should meet that goal. But our overall goal for the envelope is 250. So we'll see if we actually end up hitting 250 before we need to cycle $100 out. I'm sure I could probably do the math to try and figure that out, but I am not going to. It's the end of the day, and it is not wise for me to math at the end of the day. It rarely goes well. Miscellaneous, we have no miscellaneous at the moment, so we're skipping it. Pets, again, not a pay period, not this pay period. Same thing with Prime. Savings, this is part of the savings that we have mentioned when I discuss our job loss cushion. I wanted to keep a little bit of it in cash, and so we have $500 that is in cash. We ended up putting the rest of it in an actual savings account. And then the last but not least for the standard stuff is taxes. Get this nice, not super crisp $20 bill. And so we are at a total of 150, 70, 90, 210, 230, 235, 236, 237. Oops, let's write that down. Now, as I've mentioned before, I can't anticipate that we'll ever hit the $2,000 mark. Maybe if we win the lottery, then I will be able to fully fund my cash envelopes. We still have the junk removal dump money because a certain Mr. M hasn't really done anything with that. We'll leave that there. And then our current goal is patio chairs. We had a auto transfer of $100 to go towards this, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. There is another $100 auto transfer that should be coming through sometime during this pay period, between the 1st and the 15th, and $50 of that is going to go here, so we can then potentially pick those up. I was hoping we would see that the chairs that we're looking at in particular might come down. I'm starting to think that that's not going to be the case because when Mr. M was looking at them, they had already had a reduction. So it's possible that they could come down a little bit more, but I would be surprised. I want to say that they were already 50% off at that point. So we'll have to see. The one thing that we do want to make sure is that we do purchase them before they go, whether they reduce them more or not, because we did feel that they would be the best fit for our needs. So that's where we are. That is our cash envelope stuffing for the first pay period in July. We have a chunk of money that we are going to go and put into the bank so that it can be tucked away there and we aren't necessarily holding on to a ton of money unnecessarily. And that is that. Thank you for watching. If you have any feedback, suggestions, any questions, or anything of that nature, please note those down below. And I thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed what you have seen, and will check out some of our other videos if you haven't already. And if you do want to keep track of the journey that we're on, please consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one.